Welcome back, everyone. Let's get into the basics of building this landscape. Here I have my second selection of primary colors so that we can capture that vibrant essence from our mountainous scene. I'm going to use some masking tape to create a precise horizon line. I'm starting with a large filbert brush for the background and a medium flathead and filbert brush for the mountains. In this walkthrough, we will solely be focusing on the top half of the canvas, and we will get to the bottom half in the second video. Here I am painting with a sky blue and a mixture of white to start bringing that sky to life. Remember to paint side to side when you are creating a landscape layout. Because I want my first application to be very opaque, I am dry brushing in most of these areas, but as far as me blending the blue and the white together, you can dip your brush in the water so that it is an easy blend. I'm starting to add more white paint towards the bottom where the sky touches the mountains. Here I'm going in with a quick transparent paint sketch so that I don't lose my formation of what the mountains look like. Here I am mixing some red with my sky blue to create a deeper blue for the corners of the canvas. This will imitate a beautiful appearance of the troposphere. Here I am preparing to make colors for the mountains, so I'm starting with my medium yellow and my sky blue to create a green. Then I will be adding some of that permanent red to deepen the color. This will be considered the base color for my mountains. Now I'm going to take some of that forest green and drag even more red into it for a brownish tint. Now I'm going back to use that medium yellow and that sky blue to create an even lighter green. So these are my three megatones, starting with the shadows, the base, and the highlight. I will be using these colors for both the mountain structure and for building the trees. You can use either or for this process, whether your mountains are more rugged on its edges or more softer and curved. Here I'm applying shadow for the first layer of the first mountain. The further that your mountains are, the more that it appears to have a natural blue haze. Because where you are viewing from a distance, the sky tends to reflect and bounce light off of the mountains. That is why I am blending some tones of sky blue into this mixture. For the nearest mountains, I am blending in the base tone, and towards the tip of the sky, I've blended in some of that undertone or shadow. Next, I will be creating a shadow for the clouds so that we can give the clouds dimension and fluff. Here I'm just mixing in a tad of black and more white to create a light gray. First, I will start with my smaller set of filbert styled brushes and start mixing in the first layer of the clouds with that gray. I'm even dipping in some of that white into the gray for variation. Next, I am taking my mop brush to blend in the natural formation of the clouds. With my brush strokes, I'm creating quick and circular motions. Because the previous layer is already wet with paint, I am dry brushing this process. Here I'm also dragging some of that previous layer onto a new layer. It creates a nice softness to the silhouette of the clouds. Here I'm just studying my reference picture and seeing where all the placement of the clouds are on the layout. Here I'm just taking some more flat white and building more layers so that the clouds can be more fluffier and opaque in certain areas. Next, I'm going to go in with my filbert brush and start defining some of the shadows in the clouds. Also here I'm just getting in the creases of where the mountains and the clouds meet. With this process, I'm just scumbling in some of the colors by dry brushing the gray and the white together. So the best way to pay attention to the formation is looking at where the light shines. The light source is coming from the top, so that means that your clouds will be at its lightest highlight towards the top of the cloud ruffles. Here I'm going to go even deeper and add in my smaller brushes so that I can start defining the patterns of the clouds. Remember what I said about texture. So this technique, I'm just dabbing and stippling in some of that flat white. Light source plays a big role in landscapes, so you can even add light source to the bottom of some of these clouds because it's reflecting light from the top of the clouds that they're hovering over. Next, we're going to move on to adding some shape to the mountains. Here I'm just color blocking in some of the colors I see, which this is the highlight green, and then I've even added some tan to the mix that is peeking through the mountains. This is where you can have fun and start mixing in your own colors of green. So I'm just playing with both hues of the shadow and the base color, just so it can give its own source of dimension since I cannot capture such detail from so far away. So I'm going to take from those layers and start stippling in what appears to be trees. Next, I'm going to imitate some of the sand that is running down the mountain, and how I created this color was just by adding white to my shadow. I'm just color blocking in all the colors I see before I start adding the details such as the trees and the rocks. Here I'm just adding in some of that shadow color with the lighter tint to create the rock formation. So we are approaching our next step with blending and building, so I will catch you in the next video.